Elena is joining us. She is the owner of Bake Mob, which is a new business, an online business that launched in February. And I love the name, right? I immediately thought Cake Boss, but there was another kind of reason for the Bake Mob name.
Yes, it was a late night brainstorming session between my husband and I, and while we were watching Flash Mob. So that's sort of where it came from. We didn't really want a cutesy name. We wanted something that sort of stood out, and it definitely has. It's probably been the most standout thing in the entire business, other than the pops themselves.
Well, and then the actual product, but it's a very, very catchy name. And looking at the display, people can kind of get a feel as to what it is that you're putting together. So a variety of items available online?
Yes, we're an online bakery. We do everything from large cakes, wedding cakes, party cakes, right down to the bite-sized treats, the cake pops, French macarons, and cupcakes. And they're very customizable, as you see. It's really easy to pick a theme and just run with it with the cake pops, especially everything from weddings to holiday themes to baby showers. It's very easy to choose your colors and even your shapes and styles. So
well, it's really quite cool. I'm just going to actually hand this over. And now the one thing that I did notice is the really going with the theme.
Yes.
These are really incredibly popular right now.
Yes, Christmas stocking stuffers. Actually, I've had people just buy them by the dozen, freeze them, and then take them out the night before and then put them in people's stockings. They do stay fresh for a week at room temperature, which is also a very big bonus. You don't have to refrigerate them all the time, and you don't have to freeze them, but you can, and they come out perfectly fine. So it's definitely been popular for the holiday season.
Well, I think the freezing is the key right there. If people want to be able to do that, or they have this idea, put them away and know that they're going to do that. Like the work that's going into these trees, I mean, it's really quite remarkable.
Some of them do take, even some of the really intricate ones for weddings that look like the bride's dress, for example, they do take almost up to an hour per pop to make, just because there's a lot of drying time involved. The trees are great. They're awesome. They're not actually that hard as they look, but they're definitely a lot of fun. So the more intricate it gets, the more fun it gets for me in the kitchen. So
I think people appreciate the detail, though. You can tell a lot of work went into them. Of course, you got the kids. These are fantastic. Fun, birthday parties, anything to...
Yes, and a big bonus with cake pops is they're very clean. So that's why I think they're taking over sort of the cupcake and cake industry. And there's no cutting involved. There's no mess. It's just you eat it, you throw the stick in the garbage, and you're done. So it's a lot easier to serve to people and a lot easier to give away as favors as well. So.
You were talking about favors, but you were also talking about centerpieces, that you're seeing more and more that you're actually doing these as the main centerpiece.
We've done a few events where they've requested cake pops as a centerpiece. So they do a combination of flowers and centerpiece cake pops. So we either wrap them or they wrap them later, and then people, it's also centerpiece, and it's also something that they can take home after the party. So.
It's brilliant. Is this one of those things that you were kind of talking?
That's sort of sort of the wedding style pops that we do that have been fairly popular, and they're usually put on a 3-tier stand, and then we have the cutting cake on top just to symbolize, I guess, the cutting of the cake ceremony. But otherwise, the pops have really been an easy choice for a lot of brides.
Although you can't see them just kind of exchanging pops,
exactly,
you know, and it works that way too.
A lot of pictures end up looking like that, yeah.
I can see that. Okay, you do have an example, because we're going to take some of the ones that you've already done and then make the little Christmas decorations.
What cake pops are essentially, it's cake and icing mixed together, rolled into a ball, and then dipped in chocolate. So it sounds very simple. The hardest part is keeping the cake pop on the stick. So what you do is, and I'll give that stick to you, so you dip it in the chocolate a little bit, and that'll act as your glue, and then you just sort of push it right through the cake ball, and that'll act as your glue to keep the cake pop on. You let it dry for a little bit, so we've had some that dry here, and then what you're going to do is, I'll let you do that. So you dip the entire thing straight down into the chocolate, and then I'll hold that, because you need your other hand. You want to tap this hand with that hand, or vice versa, it doesn't matter, just to get the excess off.
Like just tap it like this?
Just tap it, and twirl it a little bit. That's sort of my trick to all that. Turn it upside down. You want it coming off right to the end.
And I guess I have to keep the tapping.
Keep tapping. So it's very multitasking. And once you got most of the excess off, just twirl it off right to the top there. And then you want to put some sprinkles on.
Go right away.
You can go right in there. You can do them by hand.
All right.
And that's about it. So it doesn't take too much. It takes a little practice to get them to get all the excess off. So we'll keep that. But it's definitely fun. It's fun to make with kids. There's a lot of cake pop making kits out there now for kids, and it's definitely something fun that you can do with the kids and at parties as well.
Well, you can keep them active. You can keep them busy. So people can order online. In terms of a time limit, how much time do you need?
For smaller orders, so under 4 dozen, 48 hours is fine. Anything over 4 dozen, depending on the time of the year. Obviously, now we're just swamped with orders, but usually up to a week is great to have notice. Also, depending on how intricate the design is.
Well, when you're spending an hour on one,
exactly. So it all depends on the complexity of it. For weddings, usually they are larger orders, so up to 2 weeks is perfect. I can't make them too far in advance, obviously, to keep them fresh because everything is baked from scratch and fresh. So that's ideal, but it's always best just to contact us, and we'll let you know how our schedule is going and how long we need to know. Yeah.
The information is all available on the website, bakemob.com. Again, bakemob.com. Elena, thanks a lot. Congratulations on the business. I'm going to actually I have to try one now, too.